Hi, I'm Brenda from Alberta Quilter. Please stay tuned for today's tip. I would like to just take this moment and tell you about the thoughts that you need to have when you go to the fabric store and you're wanting to go and buy yourself some fabric. Why would you even need to think about it? Well, sometimes you're lucky enough and you find a pattern and you're like, yes, I'm so excited, I'm going to go and do this pattern, and the author of the pattern gives you all of the fabric requirements, and you get to go to the store and say, here, please help me, I need these this amount of fabric, and can you help me find it? So that's great, but there's times where you might see a pattern online, or a friend has it or something, and you kind of go, well, I can probably figure that out. How much fabric am I going to need? Or just generally, how much do you need per quilt?
Okay, now at this point we've got enough time there so I can stop it and cut it, but I was just thinking while you're talking, because we're going to be listing a whole bunch of measurements, take a step to the right so I have a place to list the measurements, because I have a place there on your right, on your left right now, but I'm going to zoom out a little bit. So when you're done to that, just take a step to the right, and like you can almost to your right.
Oh, to my right, to my other right. Okay.
And then I can have a place to list, because I'll be listing it literally right here, and then I'll have a place to list it. So that position is great.
Okay.
Okay. So, but you actually go back to the position you were in, and then as soon as you start talking about it, just kind of go like this. So then we can see everything come up.
Okay. So for a crib size, you're going to need, it's generally about 45 to 60, 45 inches by 60 inches. So it's not huge, so you don't need a lot of fabric. But you're looking probably at about 3.5 meters by the time everything's said and done, top and bottom, depending on the kind of fabric you're wanting to buy. If you're needing to fussy cut or whatever, you might need a little bit more. But generally that's about the size of fabric that you're going to need. For a single bed, they're generally about 60 inches by 90 inches, because you want the length for the length of your bed. So, and 60 inches kind of gives you a nice, it kind of lays over the bed really nicely. And there you're probably looking 4 to 5 meters of fabric. And again, depending on the complexity of your pattern and whatever you decide. These are just rough estimates. So, don't just say, oh, well, I'll just only need that. But think about it, map out your quilt, and then you can kind of decide what you're wanting to make, how much fabric you actually want to use. Considering that fabric is fairly expensive as well, especially quilting cotton, the good stuff. So then onto a double bed quilt is about 75 inches wide. Sometimes people make it about 80 inches wide. It's also about 96 inches, because you need that extra length again for a bigger and longer bed. And that you're looking at about 6 meters of fabric. So, again, the whole idea of pattern and stuff, depending on what you're actually going to use, just a rough estimate. And that'll kind of give you an idea of how much you want to invest into a quilt as well for your sizing. A queen size generally runs about 80 inches, 80 to 90 inches by about 100 inches. So 80 across and 90 down for the length, so that you're again having the nice width. You might want to go a little bit longer, because you might want your actual quilt to drop over the sides of your bed, and you actually might even want it to tuck over your pillows. So if that's the case, then you might want it longer, and you actually might want it wider, which means that you're going to obviously need some more fabric. I've found myself in position many a time where I have gone all excitedly, bought all the fabric for the top, completely forgetting about the backing, and ended up at near the end of the project going, uh-oh, what am I going to use? So then I go on this mad hunt looking for different kinds of backing fabrics. Just a little tip from me, there's some backing fabrics that I absolutely love. Some flannelette. Flannelette is nice because it's nice and warm and soft, and it makes it nice and cuddly. I would be careful about buying flannelette that is too cheap of a flannelette, because sometimes it can pill, and then you kind of worked, you've done all this work, you throw it in the washing machine, and now the back is pilling, and it creates those little balls, and that just doesn't look very nice. Another great product is Minky. Minky has a little bit of a stretch to it, but it's got a nice pile to it. It's nice and high, and so when you quilt it, you get these beautiful indents where the long arm quilter has quilted, or if you're doing it just on your domestic machine. It's soft, it's heavy, like it makes the quilt nice and heavy. It's a beautiful product. I love it. Fleece is also another nice backing, because then it makes it nice and warm. Now I'm talking from being in North America. In Canada, it's cold in the winter, and so as a result of that, we tend to make our blankets, our quilts, a lot thicker and a lot heavier, because we want to be snuggled up in the cold winter nights, right? If you're in a warmer climate, you know, a sheet on the back, or buying the double wide fabric, the cotton for the back of your quilt is good too, and that also comes in flannelette as well as just a plain cotton. So there's a variety of products that you could use, and I know you need to experiment and see which one actually works for you. These ones are my favorite. I've used them extensively, and I've probably made about 500 quilts in the last 25 years, probably even more. I've lost count over the years, but yeah, it's just kind of you know, some suggestions for you, and I hope that you have lots of success as you go and try out the different fabrics and see which ones work for you. Thanks for watching the Tip Show today. Please like and share this video, and leave us your comments below, as well as any great ideas that you might have for any future videos. Thank you so very much.